I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
So what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Our beer tonight is Chugga Peach Cobbler Smoothie Sour. Brewed and packaged by Ghost Train Brewing Company in Birmingham, Alabama. 6% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. All that this says is Smoothie Progression Volume 3. And I did my best to look up on their website and see if they have anything there about their beers. They really don't, because Ghost Train makes a lot of different beers, but they're very quick. Like, they make a batch and they're done with it almost. At least that's what I'm gathering from it. So this one, I found just about everything I could find on it on the Untapped app, which is just a way to try beer and review beer and look at other people's reviews. And if you don't know what it is, it connects to Facebook and everything. Like this, the cans don't even have the alcohol content on them. They have literally nothing. And the website has nothing. But Ghost Train makes a bunch of stuff, and they do a bunch of different smoothies. One that I see all the time, or saw all the time during the summer on their social medias, was their blueberry pie or something like that smoothie that looked fucking delicious. But we never got it. We never tried it. This is the first time with Ghost Train, and I want to keep having them back because there's a lot of stuff I want to try. Well, all that I have to say about it is I like it quite a bit. It's a sour, so, you know, if you're into that kind of sour thing, it's not pale whatsoever. It's sour and sweet. You can really taste, I don't know if it's nutmeg or cinnamon, but there's something that makes that cobbler flavor actually come out, and it really does taste like a peach cobbler.
It's cinnamon.
It is? Okay. So, there you go. It's cinnamon. But it tastes really freaking good to me. I like it a lot. It's not my favorite sour, but it's up there. It's really good. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. What do you think, Leah?
It's really good. I like it a lot. It's a good sour. It's got a peach forward note, and it is sour at the end. It's not as sweet as I thought it would be. I was hoping when I saw it, like, I immediately gravitated toward that because I'm a big Cobbler fan.
Yes, you are.
Yes. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh, this is going to be like fall. It's going to be wonderful. Just fall in a can. And to me, this is more like summer in a can.
Yeah, it's real summery.
I would say it's more of a summery, like, it does have that hint of cinnamon to give it that pie feeling. But, I mean, it's a great beer, don't get me wrong, but it's not quite what I was expecting. But it's very good. I would drink several of these. And on the can, a portion that you mentioned, it says a portion of proceeds will go to local artist communities. So,
yeah, a portion I didn't mention.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's exciting.
They do. Ghost Train gives back a lot. They've been in Birmingham for a couple years now. I think not very long, but they've quickly become a big player in the
and
Birmingham
I've heard their
beer
tap
scene.
room is really fun, and they're supposed to have like slushy versions of some of their beers that
they do
sound
slushies.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I really want to go, but I mean, finding time to go to Birmingham and drink is, you know,
difficult.
Yeah, but like I said, I would love to have them on again.
Yeah.
This is delicious, and everything else that I've seen looks really good. They have, I think, 3 base beers, like a lager and a pale and a red or something like that. I'm not even sure, but they have those, but they make these, like I was saying earlier, these one-off beers. Yeah. They make them like once, and they can a bunch of them and send them out and send them to tap rooms, and then that's it. And you're done. But they really have, I think on Untapped I saw that they had like 160 beers or something.
That's
Maybe
crazy.
It's less than that. But again, it's just one time and they're done with it kind of thing. So
special edition beers, if you will.
Yes, and this is one of those special editions. It's good if you can find it, which you probably can't if you're not in Alabama, but
if you can't, and you can find anything from Ghost Train, I hear that all of their beers delicious, so
yeah,
give them a shot.
I hear the same. So, moving on, we're reusing liquor this week. Shot in the Dark is Dettling Cask Strength Single Barrel Alabama Bourbon. It's delicious. What?
Lord, I hope you get those questions wrong.
Oh, because you don't want to take the shot?
Oh.
Sorry, Leah was just shaking her head like I was doing something wrong, so
bourbon
I had to see what the problem
just,
was.
You know me and bourbon.
Well,
sometimes it's just a rough go.
To episode 28, I'm sorry, for the full review that we just had it on a few weeks ago. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It is expensive, but I'm not going to go through it again. It gets a 9.5 out of 10. because it's really good, and we're going to take some shots tonight.
You're going to take some shots tonight.
I'll take them, even if I get them wrong. I don't mind.
Alrighty.
So, whatever you want to do. Well, that's it for the alcohols, Leah. Let's go into one announcement real quick before you get into anything.
Okay.
For our patrons who are at the... What is it, the $10 level, where you get access to the live stream? We're going to do our first Patreon episode next weekend, which will be, well, when you hear this, it'll be, what, the 21st, I want to say? So, anyway, we're going to do our first live stream that Friday, which will be the 26th. So we're going to send out to our patrons to let them know, hey, we're going to be live streaming. We're still not even sure how we're going to do it, like if we're going to do it through Facebook or YouTube or whatever, but we're going to do something and invite just the people who can come. We're going to say between 8 and 9 o'clock, around there. So if you can, I know it's Friday night, but we'll see what we can do. So we can try to work it out and see if people can be there for the live stream, but we're going to do that, and then we're going to record right after that. So the first Patreon episode will be out soon. Give it about 2 weeks. But, you know, that's all that I had.
And what's really exciting is the Patreon episodes are not constricted by locality. Mm-hmm. So I can go literally wherever the fuck I want to go with these stories. And if you're at the $10 level, you get to pick one of those stories. So if you want to hear me talk about your favorite, whatever it happens to be, you can make that happen at a mere $10 a month. Mm-hmm.
And I'm
just
going to say that we're not going to constrict the alcohol either, because I just want to go get something.
Yeah, there's
fun.
So many beers that we love and alcohols from wherever that we just really enjoy, and so that Patreon thing is going to be a way for us to let loose. Throw off the constriction of being regionally sourced, and have a little bit of fun. Not that we're not having fun, but you know.
Nope, I hate this. Every minute of it.
Rude.
Well, I guess that's it for the Patreon announcement.
No, it's not, because we've got 2 new patrons.
Uh-oh.
Hey!
We got 2 more?
2 more. How
Tell me
exciting
about
is that?
They're pretty.
All right, well, our first patron of the evening is Miss Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
Chelsea R. I'm not going to say your last name.
Sorry about the burp.
That'd be creepy. But anyway.
Yeah, don't say anybody's last name.
Chelsea has pledged at the Buy Us a Beer level, which is $3 a month, which is super exciting. Welcome to the Possum Passel, Chelsea. We are so excited and happy to have you.
We are.
You'll be getting that sticker and whatever else comes at the $3 level.
We already
I kind of forgot
what's in our Patreon level.
But you will be getting that as soon as we remember what that is.
That's why it's on the computer. It tells us what we owe you.
We have a computerized list. Patreon's great. Thanks. And
You're
then
welcome.
next we have our girl Allison. Hey, Allison.
Hey, Allison.
She pledged at the Buy Us a 6-pack level, which I believe is that $5 a month? $10 a month? I don't. $5. That's what I thought.
I think. Yeah,
it's
right.
$5.
No, it's 10 if it's a 6-pack, because the cocktail's $5.
Oh.
I think.
Y'all,
I don't know, y'all. She gave us $5,
these
I think.
things, and I... Shit, y'all, I'm bad at this. But, it was $5. Yes, $5 a month.
There you go.
Okay. We're good. But yeah, she is actually the bar manager at Tallulah Brewing Company, which, as of this episode, we just had a live show there, and it was freaking amazing.
Yeah, ahead of time.
Yeah, we're
It was
recording
so
this.
good.
We're recording this on a Monday, so this is preemptively crossing our fingers that was a fantastic thing.
Either way, even if we shit the bed, I'm going to have a fantastic time.
It's going to be great. Particularly thank you to Allison for setting that up for us. And she actually goes all over the state and tries beers and all over the place, and her Instagram is really cool. So if you're into beer at all, she is a great follow. Her Instagram handle is Bama Brew Girl, and she did give us permission to share this information.
Spelled exactly as it sounds.
Yeah, Bama Brew Girl, and she posts different beers and experiences in tap rooms from all over the state, and even I think outside of the state. She's a really cool follow on Instagram, so shout out to our girl Allison. Show her some love, because she's definitely helped us out by allowing us to do a show in her tap room.
Exposure.
Exactly.
Get out there to them country folk and see if they like our show.
Hey, we're all country folk around here.
Yeah, we're just a little, yeah, that's true. We're all country bumpkins.
I'm not a bumpkin. That is
You're-
not what I said.
You're a bumpkin.
Anyway. All right, so that was all I had on the Patreon front. Other
All
than,
right.
If you want to join, we're always willing.
Patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. I beat you to it.
All right, were you ready for a funny place name?
I am.
All right. Well, tonight we're going to the community of Poca, West Virginia.
Like P-O-L-K-A?
P-O-C-A. Poca.
Poca. Okay. So far, this isn't crazy.
No. But we're getting there.
Okay.
Poca is in Putnam County, West Virginia. And its town derives its name from the Pocatalico River or Pocatalico. I'm not sure how you say that, but Pocatalico.
You're doing great.
Poca. Anyway.
Pika Pika.
Either way, it is a river that runs through that area. And according to the not well-cited website I pulled this off of,
Okay.
it apparently means the river of fat dough in whatever Native American tongue was spoken in that region.
Like baking dough?
No, like deers. Lady
Okay.
deers.
All right.
The river of fat dough.
It's a nice husky deer.
But the reason that I picked it as a funny place name is because the town's high school is very famous for having the mascot of the Dots. So they are the Polka Dots.
Are they really?
They are. And they were selected by ESPN as having the #1 sports nickname in the country for high school. They are the Polka
What year?
Dots.
When was that?
2013.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. The
Yeah.
polka dots. That's actually really awesome. I want to know if they have a mascot suit.
Yeah,
and
they
what it is.
do, and it is an angry dot. It is amazing.
What the
If
fuck
anybody-
is an angry dot?
Seriously, like right now, Google it. Polka dots mascot.
Okay.
POCA space dots mascot. It's just an angry looking dot.
All right, let's see. Let me see. Oh, it's a red one. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's so angry.
I told you.
My goodness. I like at the top there's like the eye hole, but it looks... it just looks like he's got a hole in his forehead.
Yep.
The polka dot does.
Yeah. So they are the polka dots, and if anybody lives in West Virginia and wants to send me some polka dots merch, I will rep it because that sounds amazing.
I want to tell you this. The 16th Google images result is a guy in a penis outfit.
Oh, well, I don't think they're related.
I'm just saying, you type in polka dots mascot and you're going to get a nice dick suit.
Well, maybe just turn on Safe Search. It'll
No,
be
don't
fun.
do that. What's the point of life?
To not have dicks show up in your Google image search.
I can't help that. That's
Yeah,
just kind of par for the course for me. That's why I don't use my work computer at all
You're ridiculous.
to ever Google search, because there's always dicks. All right, well, I guess it's time for story one.
I believe I'm ready to tell you story number 1.
I'm going to go ahead and start it. I hope there's dicks.
No, I don't think there's
Aw.
dicks. Nope, no dicks. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
All
thank you
right.
for checking.
No dicks. All right. Anyway, we're going to Louisville, Kentucky, and we're going to be talking about the witch's tree.
All right, what's the witch's tree?
Well, the witch's tree is a tree that stands... Yeah, it's a tree.
No.
It is a tree that stands on the corner of 6th Street and Park Avenue in Old Louisville. Now, back in the day, so like not early, so like late 1880, so like 1888-ish is when we're starting.
Okay.
All right, so this tree was a really tall, perfectly straight maple tree. It was just a stellar looking tree.
Sounds like a
it's
great
strong
tree.
and tall and beautiful. It was a very wonderful tree.
Mm-hmm.
Now this tree happened to be the favorite meeting spot for a little coven of witches that were in the area.
Oh.
And at night they would meet under the branches of the tree and do whatever it is witches do when they hang out at night under a tree.
Jenga.
Maybe it's Jenga. I don't know.
Sure it's Jenga.
I'm not a witch, but I bet it's like just hanging out with cool chicks and spells and stuff, right?
Jenga.
And Jenga.
Yeah.
Because
what
that's...
they do is they play drinking Jenga, and when they pull out a tile, It's got a spell on it that they have to cast on their friend, and if it works, the friend drinks as well as gets the spell put on them, but if it doesn't, they have to drink.
That sounds like a lot of fun, but I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
You don't know?
It's a good story. I like where you're headed, but no.
Okay.
So, this tree was great, and this tree was grand until 1889, the Louisville city people, they had a May Day festival, right? And there was like a council of people that were over the festivities. So these officials were like, well, damn, if that isn't a perfectly straight, wonderful maple tree, that's going to make a great maypole.
Maypole,
right?
yeah.
Maypole.
I know about the maypole
so,
stuff.
May Day isn't really celebrated around here or at all anymore.
Yeah.
But, in the Victorian era, it was a really popular, festival thing that all of the towns around did. And the May Day festivities, you had to have a tall, straight pole in the middle, and they put, garlands of flowers, and they had ribbons, and there was a dance around it. It was, I think, a very pagan thing, which is why I'm not sure why the witches weren't thrilled with it. But
it was, because I actually just took a class on this, not on this, but I took an American Lit class recently that has to do with this, because it was a very early American celebration.
Yeah.
That had to do with revolting, but not against Britain. Revolting against the Puritans.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not, I don't believe it's pagan, but it's anti-Christian.
Well, I mean,
at least it was at the beginning.
I don't know. I think traditionally, isn't May Day a pagan thing? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, but then it was
a festival
co-opted
to have a pole. It's almost literally Festivus from Seinfeld.
Yeah,
where there's a pole and you just sit around and drink and party and fight all night.
But there's ribbons and you do this dance around it, and it
that's what it originally
wands
was.
The ribbons up, and it's anyway. But anyway, you've got to have this fucking pole, right?
Yes.
And when the witches' coven found out that their tree is the one that was going to be cut down to make this pole, they were like, oh, hell no. And so the witches were like, look, guys, you can't do that. That's our fucking tree. But apparently nobody paid attention to the witches, and they went ahead and sent a lumberjack in, cut that sucker down. And the witches freaked out, were pissed off, and they left town in a huff, but not before they told the city they weren't city council people, but the festivities people
people who were organizing it for the city.
Yeah. They were like, beware motherfuckers, because in less than a year, this shit's gonna go down. And they kept saying, beware the 11th month.
So November.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. I love
November.
The
11th month after this, not November specifically.
Just 11 months from now.
11 months from now, we're going to fuck this shit up, basically.
Okay.
But,
right,
more elegantly spoken as, beware the 7th month.
Where all of our fucketh uppeth occurreth.
Fucketh uppeth occurreth?
Yes.
Do you have a list?
They're S's and TH's, which is really strange, because it's hard to do that. Occurreths.
Yes. Anyway, well, the townspeople were like, okay, those are weird, crazy bitches, but fine. We're going to have our celebration, and this pole is wonderful. So they set it up, and they did their celebration, and apparently at the end, you're supposed to have a bonfire and burn the pole, so they did that. And the witches were mad about it, obviously, because
well, they burned the tree.
Yeah, you burned their sacred tree. That's not cool. So then, you know what? 11 months later... that's what happens when you get a witch pissed off. So a devastating natural disaster beset the city. Shot in the dark.
Oh no! Got it. Okay.
What kind of disaster was it?
Oh no, this can't be good.
Was it A, an earthquake? Was it B, a tornado? Or was it C, a fire?
All right, give me a geographical location of this place.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah. Is there a fault line there? I don't think there is.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, so...
I've been to Louisville once.
Earthquake, and what are the two others?
Tornado or fire.
All right, tornado.
Damn it.
Woo! Because fires are normally something that you hear about, the Great Fire of blah, blah, blah in Louisville.
But this was the Great Fire of Louisville. It killed 100 people.
But we're
getting there.
This tornado, though, it wasn't a fire, was my point.
Yes, but Anyway.
Right, you ready for a whiskey shot?
Yes, sir. I mean, not really. Bumma take it.
Bumma take it. That's what Leah just said. She's about to butt chug this whiskey.
Ew. Does anybody actually do that?
I mean, yeah. That's why people know about it, but I mean, it's not something I would do.
The only time I have ever heard of anybody butt chugging was the only time I've ever heard of it was on like one of those terrible Spike TV man show things.
Or it was Jackass or something,
like,
probably.
No, it was one of those like 100 Ways to Die or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 1,000 Ways. I don't remember.
That was a great show. I missed that show.
It's the only. I was like, people fucking do that?
Yeah.
What?
People have done it.
Enough stalling on my part.
Wait a second. I got to do something before you do that. You got to wait because I forgot. All right. You may go.
Lord, you're such a ridiculous
You may go
person.
ahead. Just wash it down with that peach cobbler.
Fuck me. This is awful.
Gross.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's going to be terrible. You went so slow. You're supposed to swallow it real quick and then chase it.
Jesus Christ, I need something to chase.
You want me to go get you something? Well, I just had to run and get Leah some ginger ale.
Oh my god, that was the worst shot. Oh, I don't think the shot was bad on its own, but then I tried to chase it with a sour beer.
That's so funny.
I think my mouth just literally became as tight as a butthole there for
Come
a minute.
on, Leah. God.
I'm sorry, you can cut that
Gotten
out.
so crass.
I'm sorry.
No, that's the episode title. Tight as a butthole.
Oh, no, it's not. We're not naming it that.
Oh. It'll make me real happy.
No one will ever download that title.
Yeah, they will. I'm telling you, the more risque titles bring the downloads.
Uh-huh. Y'all, I'm not over that yet. Ugh.
Oh.
I'm gonna need Mitch to get off of this little streak of his because I was enjoying not taking shots.
Well, these are good, though.
Oh, that one was not.
I don't believe you for a second.
I don't think you should shoot bourbon that's that expensive either, but
no, you really
that's just
shouldn't.
principle.
You really shouldn't, but you know.
All right. Back to the story of the witch tree.
Here we go.
Well, this storm came in real fast. It was a giant tornado. It came in on March the 27th of 1890, and it was one of the deadliest tornadoes in American history still today.
Wow.
The witches were hanging out on the other side of town, and they, witched up this tornado, according to the legend.
They witched it up.
They witched it up. I don't know how that works. Weather witching, I assume. Y'all, and if we have witches that listen, let me know. Is this something that could actually happen? I'm interested. Maybe it's just like a karma thing. I don't know how that works. I don't know, but I'm willing to learn.
Well, I don't know. I just don't know that weather witching is a real thing.
Maybe, but
Okay.
I'm open. Anyway, but this sucker went all down Maple Street. It flattened fucking half of downtown. It killed over 100 people, and several members of the people that of the May Day celebration committee. A lot of those people died in that
that's terrible.
tornado. It completely just fucked up that city, and it took this weird right turn down into what is now the old Louisville area where the tree was, and as it passed by, a lightning bolt struck the stump. Mm-hmm. And after the tornado was over, a new tree started growing out of the stump of that one.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
today there is a tree that grows from that exact same location, and you can see it today. There are a lot of talismans and potions and charms and stuff that have been hung in the trees by area witches that are still venerate that tree today. But it is a fucked up looking tree, and that's no shade to the tree, but it has burls and it's gnarly and it's a really creepy looking tree. And a lot of the local ghost tours and that kind of thing take you by this tree because it's a fucked up looking tree. So if you ever want to go see a fucked up looking tree with some weird witchy history, go to Louisville and go to the corner of 6th Street and Park Avenue, and you'll find that sucker.
I'm looking at pictures of it. It's so gnarly, just as you said.
It is. It's a gnarly tree.
Yeah, that's really cool, though. So people were standing out in the tornado and saw lightning hit it.
Well, I mean, there's
saying.
evidence of lightning hitting things. I mean,
Yeah.
it chars everything. I'm sure afterwards they were like, oh, yeah, lightning hit that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if you've never seen a tree that's just been struck by lightning, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool looking. Like glowing from the inside and everything. It's so cool.
But anyway, a new maple tree sprung out of the devastation, and
The old maple.
now the witch tree lives again.
Well, that's a good one. Is that it for the witch tree?
That is the witch tree of Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, I enjoyed that, except for the witches killing 100 people with their tornado.
You shouldn't have cut down their fucking tree.
Okay, that's true too. But, there is a limit. Like, kill 20 people.
Well, I mean, I'm
get
sure
the
they
tree
were
back.
just aiming for those people, but,
Yeah,
it's a
collateral
tornado. What are you
damage.
going to do?
You gotta break some eggs. Yeah, I get it. Well, all right. Well, in between stories here, we'll introduce Dead Kids Club one more time. These are the people who eat human leg fajitas.
They don't eat them. They just speculate about them.
They might eat them. I don't know.
They don't eat any people as far as we know.
Yeah.
And they make a really good, interesting, very informative podcast that I think you'll like. So give them a listen.
So check them out. Here's their ad right now.
Hey everybody.
Do you ever think about
Death?
Your own death?
what happens when you die?
Will you die from syphilis?
How do human leg fajitas taste?
What do they harvest on body farms?
We have the answers to these questions.
Why do we have the answers?
Because we are doing our PhDs in...
Forensics?
And archaeology.
And we spend more time with dead people than with living ones.
We are the Dead Kids Club,
A weekly comedy podcast.
That's all about death.
by people who study the dead.
Subscribe to Dead Kids Club if you want to learn about the science of broken bones and decomposition.
The history of cannibalism and the Black Plague.
And the fancy funerals of your favorite dead celebrities.
Join the Dead Kids Club each week for a new rambling adventure into the underworld.
Subscribe to Dead Kids Club wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And follow us on Twitter at Dead Kids Club Pod.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club.
All right, and we thank them once again for giving us a nice fun ad where they talk about cannibalism.
Woo.
So thank y'all, Dead Kids Club. Let's move on to story number 2.
Story number 2.
No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go, okay, here we go.
Oh, sorry.
I go, story number 2.
Oh, yes, Mitchell. Story number 2.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about the Black Sisters of Christiansburg, Virginia.
Why they gotta be black sisters, Leah?
They're not physically black. They wear black.
Okay. All right, fine, Leo.
Are you going to say, why can't they be black now? I don't
Yeah,
know.
why can't they be black sisters, Leah?
Well, because it was in 1902 in
Oh,
Virginia.
and there weren't black people then. Okay, I see how it is.
No, there were black people there, but just maybe not in this area. They were just 3 white bitches, okay? I'm sorry.
3 white bitches
Quite
is
literally.
the episode title now.
Anyway, so in 1902,
Yeah.
there was this lady, and her name was Virginia Wardlaw.
Wardlaw?
Wardlaw.
Wardlaw. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm on the right page.
She was a teacher, and she had previously been teaching out in Tennessee, where she was running a women's boarding school kind of thing. Well, she left that job and she came into Christiansburg, Virginia, and she was hired to run the Montgomery Female College, which was a very well-respected boarding school for young women. And her aunt actually owned it. Her name was Mrs. O.S. Pollock.
OS?
O.S. Pollock.
What's the OS stand for?
Oceania. I don't know what the S is.
Oh, that's a really pretty name, though.
Yeah, and she had run the school for a long time, but she was getting old and she was tired of doing it. So she asked Virginia, who, like I said, was a teacher, to go ahead and take it over. Mm-hmm. So she moved in, and the college was, by all accounts, very nice. They had like dormitory, so they did room and board. They had courses in English literature, ancient languages, history, natural sciences, what they call mental and moral science, which I don't know what that means.
That sounds upsetting.
I know, right? Math, music, ancient and modern languages. And from one of their catalogs from 1880, it says, the remarkable purity and healthfulness of the atmosphere render the location peculiarly eligible for a seat of learning.
What does that mean? That's very confusing.
It's real clean and pretty, so people can learn real good here.
Well, people can learn real good.
Yeah. Oh, my entire face feels burny from that. Yeah.
You feeling the burn?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Miss Virginia had 2 sisters that were both widows. And so they came in to like teach and do shit too. Well, one of them had 2 sons, and the sons' names were, so there was a lady with the last name Sneed, and the other one was Martin, right? And they both of them were sisters of this Virginia Wardlaw. So they came and they joined the school, and they were needing new teachers and stuff like that. Well, Miss Sneed had 2 sons named John and Fletcher, and they were both living in Linville, Tennessee, and they had married a pair of sisters, which I always find strange, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, now, Miss Martin, so the boy's aunt came down while, all this was going on. Anyway, came down to Linville, Tennessee to try to recruit him, John, to be part of the school. Now, she visited John and his wife and insisted that John come with her to teach in Christiansburg, but the wife couldn't come with him. That was just nope. And the wife was like, look, hell no, he's not going to live.
All those women always controlling shit.
Yeah, hell no. And John told his neighbors that, his aunt was trying to ruin his marriage and he didn't want anything to do with her. And he even ended up calling the police to try to evict her from his house. Like, just fuck that bitch. Well,
nice.
Ms. Martin apparently was not easily gotten rid of. Well, she came back on a second trip, and for who the fuck knows what reason, he was like, okay, fine. And so he returned with her to teach at the Montgomery Female Academy. Now, while they were traveling, shit started to go down.
Did she start to go down?
Ew.
Hey.
Mitchell, that was his aunt. Gross.
Well, okay. What year was this again?
1902.
Nobody cares.
I care. That's disgusting. Although it does get a little incesty at one point. But anyway.
Is there any blood relation? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is actually his aunt. It's not.
Yeah, it is actually his aunt. It's his mother's sister.
All right. Well, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, so no going down on anything. Anyway, back to the story. So while they were traveling, basically, John fell off the train near Roanoke, Virginia. He said it was accidental, but the brakeman that was operating the top of the train at the time said it looked like he was making a suicide attempt.
My goodness.
Mm-hmm. Well, then later, John almost drowned to death, and he was only saved just barely by being pulled out of this well that he fell down into by a man named Sonny Corll, who was the caretaker at the college. So these are 2 near-death experiences for this man.
Yeah, so he's tried to do this a couple times.
Well, a few weeks
Allegedly.
later, Virginia Wardlaw starts screaming bloody murder, and other people have to flock to John's room in the college because that's where she was standing.
Huh.
Now, shot in the dark.
No, it's not working. There we go. Okay.
Something bad befell John. What was it? Was he found...
Ant cooties.
Gross. Was he found A, burned to death, B, shot through the temple, or C, with slit wrists?
Oh my God.
Burned, shot, or slit?
I think people would have smelled it if he was burnt. So I'm going to rule that one out. I'm going to say slit his wrists.
You're wrong. He was burned to death.
Fuck! Well, alright. At least we split this week. Alright, here we go on the shoddy poo.
Just have something else to chase.
Hand me that 2-liter of ginger ale over there.
Here, I'll even take the cap off for you because
Oh,
I'm
you're
a
so
sweetheart.
sweet.
Here you go, boo.
We made it. Alright. 3, 2, 1.
Buh.
Woo! Oh.
See, isn't it terrible?
No, it's not terrible. It's just rough. I'm so glad I didn't chase that with the sour.
Yeah, that was a massive mistake.
Woo! Well, hashtag Monday feeling. Woo!
Mitchell.
Let me see what this one is.
Stop.
Okay, I've heard that one before.
All right. So he was found burning up to death.
1 second. Okay. Go ahead.
If you're not going to be better with those, you can't do them.
Hey, I had to try the rooster first.
All right.
Sorry.
So they found him burning to death.
Burning or burnt?
Burning.
Was he on fire at the time?
Accounts vary. I'm going to say he was already burnt, but I don't know that for a fact.
He was charred and feathered.
Yeah. No, sir, that's not how that works. But it was later discovered that his bedclothes were saturated with kerosene.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
I thought you were going to say urine for a minute.
Oh, okay, so he wasn't burnt. Well, I mean, he was burnt-ish, but he didn't die immediately. He died later after he suffered all these burns.
Oh, so he survived the burns. Oh,
well,
God.
he survived the fire, but not for long.
Yeah.
So the question is, was it suicide or was it murder?
Meow doll.
Murder.
Meow doll.
It turns out that the sisters had taken out a very sizable insurance policy on John.
Nice.
And the beneficiary was Virginia Wardlaw and not his wife.
Oh.
So, yeah, it turns out that the people of the town were very suspicious of these people.
With reason?
Like with very
Probably.
good reason.
Yeah.
Now, some other iffy
Go ahead.
shit had happened at the school. Now, there was a young woman that was a student at the college there.
Okay.
Now, she had gotten pregnant by some random townie, like you do.
no.
Sometimes it happens.
Oh, no.
And it was obviously out of wedlock. And so this unmarried pregnant girl
Excuse me.
ends up having the baby while she's there at Montgomery Women's What's-Its Buckets.
I can't believe she got away with that.
Well, that's the thing, though. After she had the baby, everybody pretended like nothing fucking happened and the baby was never heard from again.
Oh,
No
okay.
one
All
adopted
right.
that sucker out. No one
this
did
upsets me a
nothing.
lot.
The baby just disappeared. No one would
Well-
ever talk about it. She just nothing.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. All right. So
We move on from
people-
that with an, all right.
now people were, like I said, very uncomfortable with everybody involved. And now one of the sisters, Miss Martin, had a daughter as well.
Okay.
And her name was Osie, which was she was named after the aunt that we were talking about before, Oceana.
Uh-huh.
But she couldn't say that when she was a little kid, so they called her
She was
Osie, which is
Osie.
terrible.
Yeah.
So it was Osie Martin, and it turns out that that other brother that was in Linville, Tennessee, well, he divorced his wife and came up and started living with the rest of the family in Virginia, and he married Osie because cousins, yay. Gross.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. Can we go back and tell them not to marry their cousins, please?
I mean, it was pretty common back then, but still kind of gross.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can we go back in time and tell everyone to not marry their cousins, please.
I mean, we could, but they'd probably still do
you know how
it.
much smarter we would be if our ancestors didn't fuck their cousins?
Honestly, I mean, not that I'm condoning it, because I'm not, because that's disgusting. But, like, as long as you're not siblings, just genetically, it's not as big a deal, first cousins, as you would think it is.
It's not a big deal, but it's enough of a deal.
It's still gross.
It's
It's still like, no, please don't. But, you know, it's not as big of a problem as you'd think it would be, but it's still gross.
It's a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's what happened to the British royal family. They all married cousins, and now look at their ears, and look at their teeth and everything involved with. I mean, there's a reason that they're now marrying Americans instead of their cousins still.
Well, what you gonna do?
Well, I say Americans. There's one.
I would say just the one.
She's pregnant, by the way. Did you see that?
Procreation.
How exciting!
Yay, royal
I'm so
baby.
excited for the royal baby.
I don't really care.
I
Children
don't care either,
make me
but I saw
uncomfortable
it
anyway.
today,
Yeah, I did too. But anyway, so yeah, him and Osi got married, and that'll figure in a little bit in a minute, but not right this second. All right.
Okay.
So these sisters, the reason they were called the Black Sisters is because that they dressed entirely in black from head to toe, and they also wore long black veils everywhere.
Oh, that's fucking
Creepy.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
metal.
okay with it creepy.
I don't know.
Like, I don't think that it's creepy. I think this fucking tits.
And they were known to, like, just wear them around out in the streets, like that. They were all in black all the time with veils. And they were known to frequent the cemetery very often. One, like, hack driver, so like a cab driver dude, but with horses, he frequently got hired to drive them to the cemetery. And he said that he always was asked to stop right at the edge of the cemetery, and they would get out and they would walk onto the grounds. And a lot of the town gossip was that you could see them that in the moonlight they would gather around a grave and they would make gestures towards the sky, and they'd like murmur incantations. And he was like, yeah, that's fucking creepy, and I was scared.
You know what a horse taxi is called?
What?
A gloober.
Wait, what?
Oh God, I made myself laugh really
Was
hard.
that supposed to be a joke? Because I don't get it at all.
Like they make glue out of horses.
Baby, that was an extra step of
gloober.
that was not funny.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, because Uber, but that's still not funny.
A gloober.
That took me way too long. I don't.
You've had too much whiskey. All the sober people are gonna get it.
They are not.
I think so.
I don't. Nope. But anyway, and then the tales also say that these creepy bitches would also go through the school at night in their black outfits, and they would, like, girls would wake up with them standing by the side of the bed, just like looking at them, all creepy and shit.
Oh, that's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So these experiences started to spread throughout the college, and people were like, oh, that's creepy. And a lot of girls started packing up and moving the fuck out. So the school sort of went into a decline, and, excuse me, because of the mismanagement of funds and just,
Somebody's having
a
some
hard
problem.
time, y'all. But anyway, because of all of the controversy and everything, like, it was creepy, and just basically they had to get the fuck out of Dodge. So all three of the sisters, Mary, Caroline, and Virginia, as well as Osi and Fletcher, left. And they all moved to New York. Well, New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. One of them smells worse. Not going to tell you which.
They both smell really bad.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, I've
one's
lived
worse.
there. It all smells like a gently masked fart. Oh, that's a stench. And you get used to it. It's fine. But, like,
oh God.
the entire city smells like a fart. But it's fine.
I will
It's fine.
say, after about 3 days in New Orleans, you kind of forget that everything
It smells like vomit.
garbage and vomit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not everywhere, but, like, certain areas do smell like vomit.
Yeah, I mean, primarily, the only place I've really been in New Orleans is the French Quarter, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it smells like hot garbage and vomit. Even when it's like 30 degrees.
Yeah.
So, it smells like somebody heated up some garbage and threw up on it and put it behind all the buildings.
All right, so
I guess that's it.
No, it's not. It gets weirder.
Oh.
So they've moved to New Jersey, which, okay, East Orange, New Jersey, if you want to be specific.
I don't.
Now, these women were living in, apparently Fletcher fucked off somewhere. He disappeared. Now, O.C. had a little girl with Fletcher, so the cousins had a baby.
Gross.
They had a little girl, and she was like 2 years old at this point, and basically the sisters were like, we don't want to have to take care of her anymore. So without OC saying that they could or whatever, they put her up for adoption in like in an orphanage or whatever.
Oh my God.
And then she like had another little boy, and same thing, they immediately put him up for adoption without her consent, without anything like that. He died in the hospital. Like, it was fucking rough. These people abused this girl so hard. But now on
This is terrible.
I can't find a date because I suck at research. Anyway.
What a song.
Now, at some point in time after all of that happened, anyway, I'll find a date eventually. But Virginia Wardlaw called the police to her residency in East Orange, New Jersey. She opened the door to these police. She was wearing a thick black veil, like normal, and she guided the officers upstairs to a bathroom, and the officer found the naked body of O.C. Sneed.
Oh, God.
She was squatted and bent over backwards in a half-filled bathtub, and her head was tilted under the faucet, and apparently she had drowned, ostensibly.
What?
Yeah. And she had been dead for over 24 hours. And she had left a suicide note pinned to her garments that were next to the tub. And Miss Wardlaw was like, yeah, this is my niece, O.C., and she killed herself. But this was so fucking suspicious, and she was so unable to answer all of the questions that the police officer had about the dead girl in the bathtub, that she was held for further questioning. And then, like, as they continued to investigate, the police kept finding creepy fucking shit.
I'm so confused as to, like, her positioning.
She was,
you
like,
said she was,
she was like on her back,
squatted and bent over backwards.
Like with her legs, her knees were bent. She was laying sort of on her back with her head back towards the faucet.
Okay. She was she on her knees? Did you say that?
No, she was laying on her back. Her knees were up, like bent.
Yeah.
Into the air. She was laying on her back with her knees bent, with her
so
head
like her
towards
feet
the
were against the
faucet.
back of the tub or something?
Yeah, like that.
Okay. I guess, but I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Was there water in the tub?
Yes, it was a half-filled tub of water.
Okay. That people don't drown like that.
No.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
The positioning is still really fucking with my head, but that's okay. We'll just continue.
Anyway, so they started investigating, and they found that the house was disgusting. There was no heat. There was no hot water. There were eggshells and empty condensed milk cans everywhere, but there was, like, no food in the house. But at the same time, like, the aunts were seen out in public dining at really nice fancy restaurants and stuff like that, but no one ever saw O.C. outside of the house. Mm-hmm. So one of the people that worked in the building that they were living said that a year earlier, O.C. and Fletcher had moved into the building, and it was just the two of them, and they seemed pretty happy, and everything was going fine. Well, several months later, he said, 2 old ladies dressed in black came, and then shortly after, another old lady dressed in black came. And after a few months of that, the husband, Fletcher, left. And then in August, OC had given birth to that baby boy that I was talking about earlier.
Right.
And the baby was taken from her and put into that hospital. And at the time that she had given birth, OC was telling the doctors that she was being starved to death and she was begging for help. Like,
So she told the doctors
she
that?
told the doctor, look, this shit is crazy. Like, they're starving me. Please help me, help my baby, that kind of thing. The doctors all, when they were interviewed, said that the sisters would not allow the niece to talk with them, would not give them time alone with the doctors, and would not give her the medicines that they had prescribed, wouldn't even allow him to remove the stitches that she had had from performing like a C-section on her. Yeah, so they had been...
Go ahead.
They had been evicted from this house, and then like some policemen and a reporter found in their oven, like their kitchen range, there was a bunch of yellow hair that was wrapped around the femur bone and skull of an infant.
What?
Yeah.
In the house?
Yeah. Some weird shit. So they moved into that apartment.
The fuck?
Yeah, it gets fucking weird. But anyway,
It gets weird?
it's already weird. I know, you're right.
Oh no, it gets weird.
So like they even tried to bring in a lawyer and force her to sign, like to make a will to, you know, just will everything that they had to her. But instead, she just kept writing wills saying that her 84-year-old grandmother got everything. You know what I mean? Like, just kept fucking with him and being like, no.
But the sisters kept having her do it again and again.
Yeah. It was just some weird shit. And they had taken out, like, an insane amount of insurance on her. Like, hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's money. Like, I think $32,000 worth of loans. I mean, not loans, but insurance
Policies.
And that just from
In
the
the
time
early
period,
1900s?
in 1909 or
Fuck.
1902, something like that. Yeah, so it was an absurd amount. Like, there were 10 different policies, and they had been taking out loans to pay the life insurance premiums on them, and they had been trying to starve her to death. At one point, Virginia even tried to buy chloroform from a local drugstore, and...
Okay, they just have chloroform at the drugstore?
Well, I mean, it's 1902. Of course they have chloroform at the drugstore.
I don't even know, like, you know, we always see it in movies and shit, but, like, where does chloroform even come from?
The chemical factory.
You
But
can't get it at a drugstore, though?
You could, yeah.
I mean, now. You can get it at a drugstore?
I don't think you could get it at a drugstore now, no. But, like, chloroform was, like, a general anesthetic kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was, like, doctors could readily have access to it.
Okay.
So, like, I don't think that the regular person on the street could buy it. I could be wrong about that, but...
Now, but then...
But, like, drugstores
probably.
would carry it because, you know, like, drugstores carry prescriptions, that kind of thing. But anyway, but OC apparently was living in constant fear that her mother and her aunts were going to murder her because obviously
they were trying to.
because they were clearly trying to murder her.
100%.
So this whole story of OC dying was being called the bathtub mystery, which didn't seem like much of a mystery to me, but
Well,
whatever.
no, there's not much of a mystery, but sounds like a hell of a porno.
Gross. But
Come
this
on now.
whole thing was like nationwide coverage. Like, it was a big fucking deal. And all these investigative reporters sort of were piecing this story together. They talked to a bunch of different doctors and lawyers that had come to visit her prior to her death. And they said that the aunts had the physicians come in to examine OC to prove how sick she was, you know, just to sort of pad the evidence of her being a sickly person so any death would seem natural. But every doctor was like...
Excuse me.
Every doctor was like, she's just malnourished. Fucking feed her. And one doctor even attempted to smuggle food in through her window because, like, it was just, you know, what the fuck? And the doctor was, like, speaking to lawyers trying to see if they could emancipate her from the home. But, I mean, at that time period, there was really no legal grounds for them to remove the girl from the house. And it turns out that they were actually dosing her with morphine to keep her in a stupor so she couldn't, like, get up and leave. You know what I mean?
And she also couldn't really say much. She was probably very cryptically saying things kind of in a daze.
Yeah, she was very, very weak. She was very tired. They had, like, taken away and murdered her children. She was being held against her will and being dosed with morphine without her knowledge. And they were starving her to death. And so, like, it was this... And, like, just her own fucking mother was doing this to her. Like, and apparently she had been being abused for a real fucking long time. Like, since she was 16 years old, as far as they can tell. Like, they were abusing this girl for so fucking long. I
was having fun.
It's upsetting, and it's just like, what even?
What even?
But, like,
I agree.
It turns out that after they did all the toxicology and stuff, that it was an overdose of morphine that caused her death. And so, in a panic, they dragged her body to the bathtub and made up a suicide note. And then they brought the police in and said, "Oh no, look what happened."
I was gonna ask if like, you know, they had done an autopsy and all that and found out that it was actually that there was a gigantic amount of morphine in her system.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So they waited a full day, though, and then put her in the tub?
Day.
Well, I guess they had to figure out how to spin it.
I'm sure they put her in the tub first, but anyway.
Well, I'm saying they had to figure out how to spin it for a day.
She had been dead at least 24 hours before they called the police. But anyway, basically, these sisters got charged with the murder of O.C.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, Virginia basically went on a hunger strike before the trial even got started, and she starved herself to death before the trial even happened. And then...
That takes a long time. Was she also not drinking anything?
I don't know, but she died in prison from starvation.
Okay.
Now, Mary Sneed basically snitched out her sister Caroline, who was the mother, and they made a plea deal, and basically... Caroline ended up making a plea deal saying, yeah, it was me, I killed her, and she was sentenced to prison. And she served a few months in prison, and then she was moved to the New Jersey State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, and she died at the age of 67 from heart disease. And then Mary Sneed was cleared of all charges due to a technicality because the sister had pleaded guilty to the murder, and under the law at that time, basically that meant that she couldn't be tried for the murder as well. So she got off and basically was released to her son's ranch in Colorado.
So two people couldn't be charged with the same crime, is what we're saying.
Something like that. I don't quite understand everything of that because I don't know anything about law. But yeah, for whatever reason, she got off on some kind of weird technicality, and they suspected that maybe Fletcher, O.C.'s husband, who had just like disappeared a few months before, they thought he might have been in on it or was part of it.
Sounds like he was running.
Yeah, but they chased him down, and it turns out he was living in Canada, and he was working as like a cook up there somewhere.
In Canada?
In Canada.
Okay.
And basically he left because he knew his mother and aunts were fucking crazy, and he didn't want to be the next one to die.
Yeah.
So they cleared him of any kind of suspicion. But yeah, that's basically what happened to the Black sisters, the body of O.C. Sneed, that bathtub mystery in New Jersey.
It's not much of a mystery, though.
Yeah, it's not much of a mystery. They cleared that sucker up pretty fast.
Yeah.
But, like, just the fucking terrible, just everything. It's just so bad.
I agree.
And even today, they're, like the Montgomery Academy ended up being torn down, and then they rebuilt something else on top of it. And anyway, where that building stood is now Christiansburg Middle School. And
it's
apparently
a middle school.
it's
That's
middle school.
Fun.
Yeah, and apparently it's haunted AF, bro. Apparently the gym is over where the old well was, and you can still hear like a baby crying and like a man screaming.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. And apparently you can...
Excuse me.
Can you stop that, please?
I can't stop. I've tried
Can't
on
stop
many
or won't
occasions.
stop.
I can't.
But anyway, apparently you can hear footsteps through the hallways, and it's just sometimes people see apparitions of the Black Sisters themselves. It's just really generally creepy. And it's a big deal in that area. People tell the ghost stories and stuff. And people also say that now one of the sisters, I believe it was Virginia, that died before she was put on trial, her body was shipped back to that area and buried. And she's in the local cemetery there in Christiansburg, but her gravestone kept getting so vandalized that I think they removed it in the 70s. So she is buried out there, but I don't think you're going to see her tombstone anymore because they kept breaking it.
They just didn't move the...
They didn't move the body.
body.
They just took the monument off so people would stop fucking it up.
Yeah. Well, she sounds like a real piece of work.
But yeah, they say that you can see her ghostiness out there too. And
Her ghostiness?
apparently before the tombstone was taken away, I think it was a thing that you could see like blood spatters over her gravestone at midnight. Yeah, the normal cemetery bullshit. But she is buried out there. Do with that information what you will. But yeah, that was the Black Sisters of Christiansburg, Virginia.
Well, I don't like them.
I don't like them either. It's terrible.
I just want them to know that I don't like them.
You're bad people.
Yeah, you bad people, you. Got 'em.
Indeed.
Well, I just don't know. I don't know that we can do a toast tonight.
I'm sorry, I have one.
I just don't know that we can allow that to happen at this point.
I mean, I wrote a toast, though.
There were such bad things that happened in that story.
But Mitchell, Rhyme Zone...
Rhyme Zone don't stop.
Exactly.
The website that never sleeps.
Actually, I didn't use Rhyme Zone for this one. This is like the
You
first
didn't?
one ever that I didn't have to use Rhyme Zone. This one just came.
The one time I did one, the swap episode, I wrote that one myself.
I didn't think you did a toast.
I did.
Did you?
You didn't like it. You were really drunk.
Oh. Well, I don't remember that. I'm sorry, y'all.
By the end of that episode.
I was.
We need to do another one of those, but I just don't know any folklore that you don't know, really. I'll see what I can find.
Story.
But we need to do another swap at some point. But
okay.
At this point, why don't you just give us a Rhyme Zone toast?
It's an anti-Rhyme Zone toast because
Rhyme
I
Zone
didn't
toast.
use it. Anyway, beside the point, everybody out there in podcast land, if you will, hoist your goblet high into
Raise
the
your
air.
peach cobbler up.
Yay!
What if people did? What if they just had a plate of peach cobbler?
Give me that then.
Yeah,
I want
with maybe
that
some
right
ice
now.
cream on top. Some
Yes,
vanilla, please.
I'm fat already, y'all. We don't need to be adding to it.
God, I'll take
Anyway.
some fucking cobbler though.
All right,
Cobbler's
y'all.
keto, I'm pretty sure.
Can we please talk about my toast?
I just think that peach cobbler is keto.
It's not. It is literally all carbs.
It's nothing but sugar and bread. But
And
besides
butter.
that,
But that's it.
oh, butter? Butter's keto though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
It's no.
We're fine.
Baby doll, that is all carbs.
Okay. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Just tell the toast.
All right. Tonight we're going to be toasting the witch tree and just a general fuck you to the Black Sisters. All right. So, when a witch claims a tree, don't chop it down. They'll send in a cyclone and fuck up the town. Never trust three sisters dressed up all in black. You'll wind up in New Jersey in a tub on your back. Drink!
It's a real good one. You said you didn't Rhyme Zone at all?
I didn't. I felt proud of myself for that one. It just came
Yeah, it
naturally.
did. I just came too. Had nothing to do with the stories, though.
You have been really risque tonight.
Well, I always am. I just normally put on like a little bit more of a character for this, where I'm not so risque.
Baby doll, we need to tone this down.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of alcohol.
We both have.
Yeah, I may have gone too far, but
The power of editing.
yeah, I can cut all of this. I can take out the whole hour and 5 minutes of this so far if I want to.
How about you just do the outro and we'll talk about editing
Fuck
later.
that. Fuck it. Okay, yeah, let's go into the outro. All right. Thank you all very much for listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast. If you like us, please review us on iTunes or Facebook or anywhere you can find to do it. Send us a screenshot of that review with your address. We will send you 5 free stickers. If you want 5 stickers, but to kind of, I don't know, pay for them, you can go to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. Sign up on there. We have, I think, 5 different levels, and at every one of them you get a sticker. Not every one of them. Any of them you get a sticker. We don't send out multiple stickers. Let's, take it back a little bit. But you can get some stickers that way if you want some, including a Patreon exclusive sticker. Our first Patreon episode will be out in about 2-3 weeks. Something about there, But,
And it's going to be an awesome topic.
yeah, which we don't know yet.
Nope.
We're
But
going
it's
to drink
gonna
some
be
fun beer
awesome.
too. So all of our patrons, be on the lookout for that. If you want to be in on that, go on our Patreon and find out how you can do that. Find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Just search for Southern Spirits Podcast. You will find us. If you have any personal stories or alcohols that we should try, send us an email to southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. If you have any fun stuff to send us, like postcards, because Leah loves them.
I do, and I haven't gotten one in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, hasn't
That's not true. Angela just gave me a whole package of them the other day.
it? She didn't send them to the P.O. Box,
She
though.
didn't send them to the P.O. box.
Angela,
so...
you're being called out.
No,
There were
she's
no
not. They
hand
were
deliveries.
beautiful.
No hand deliveries.
No, I got one from Hawaii and Orlando and South Korea.
Okay,
Y'all.
well, she
They
could
were
have sent them
beautiful.
from each of those places, but no, she decided to give them to you by hand.
Yes.
And that's acceptable, but frowned upon. But thank you, Angela.
Rude.
Anyway, send us any fun stuff like that to our P.O. Box, which is P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama. That is HARTSELLE 35640. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.